In the mind-blowing Demon Slayer Season 3, we uncovered a lost, long secret. Muichiro the Mist Hashira harbored a tragic past, a twin brother that was lost too soon. However, what do you think would have happened in the story if both the Tokito siblings survived? Would both of them become Hashiras? And what type of breathing style would Yuichiro use? If I was the author of Demon Slayer, and I wanted both brothers to survive, I would have 3 scenarios in mind to choose from. First scenario would be they agreed to join the Demon Slayer Corps. The moment Amane Ubuyashiki asked them to join, although that would be boring because it would be the safest route. Second scenario would be they rejected the offer to join the Demon Slayer Corps and the demon found them just like in the original series. But members of the Demon Slayer Corps or the Hashira arrived just in time to save them, inspiring the brothers to become a Hashira like their savior. Now, that would really give off major My Hero Academia vibes, except for the part where people horribly die in this show. Now, the third and final scenario that I have in mind is my favorite, because in this scenario, everything proceeded as the original plot. They rejected Amane's offer to join the Demon Slayer Corps, and the demon found them. But this time around, the brothers decided none of them were going to die, and proceeded to get rid of the demon in the most disrespectful way possible. I mean, how epic would that be? Imagine a demon suffering a slow, painful death at the hands of the 2 brothers that is only 10 years old. After that, the story would proceed as the original, but this time the Tokito brothers are on their way to becoming Demon Slayers. So all in all, what affects their route to become a Demon Slayer is what inspired them to make that choice. It's safe to assume that due to Yuichiro's immense care for his brother, he would join the Demon Slayers as well, if Muichiro did, just to make sure his brother was safe all the time. They would train together, go on missions together, and grow stronger together. And as time goes by, they would become inseparable. But this is where everything becomes interesting. At this point, Muichiro learned the mist breathing technique. So what do you think would be Yuichiro's breathing technique? Since the Sugikuni twins had opposite breathing styles, namely sun and moon breathing, I think Yuichiro's breathing style should also be opposite to Muichiro's. I'm thinking along the lines of storm breathing. Wait a minute, now that I think about it, storm breathing would actually suit Yuichiro's personality. Since he is very driven to protect his brother, he would do whatever it takes to topple down any tree that would pose any danger to Muichiro. And by any tree, I mean demon. Side note, I just realized that Muichiro's breathing style also suits his personality, seeing as how calm he was during his fight with Gyoko, as well, of course, how cloudy his memory was in the original timeline. Now that the brothers have their breathing styles, there is the question, would both of them rise through the ranks and become Hashiras? And I think they would, because like I said, only their backstories would change, not their status. Also, the strength of the pillars would greatly increase with Yuichiro's addition to the group. But the biggest changes in the story would first appear in the Swordsmith village arc, where Muichiro made his debut as a Hashira. In this arc, we see how talented and how strong Muichiro is. Although this time around, Yuichiro is alive and they're both introduced to the show. The effect of Muichiro not losing his brother would also greatly affect his attitude, as he would remain to be the kind and compassionate person he is, while his brother would be a jerk towards everyone, just like Sanemi and Genya. I honestly think the 3 of them would always be on each other's necks, whenever they meet. Here, the story still proceeds the same way as the original. They stay in the Swordsmith village for a couple of days because Muichiro needs a new sword, and Gyoko along with Hantengo infiltrates the village. But this time around, instead of 2 Hashiras, there is 3 Kanroji, Muichiro and Yuichiro. As the brothers sit in a room with Tanjiro having a casual discussion, Hantengo would still interrupt them, automatically ensuing a fight between the 3 of them. After Hantengo splits into 2, the same scenario plays out the same as the original plot, as the pleasure emotion of Hantengo would blow the brothers in different directions, while Tanjiro, Genya, and Nezuko would be left behind to battle Hantengo's emotions. As they regain their footing, the Tokito brothers would then rush back to Tanjiro's location and help them win their fight. This is where everything becomes interesting, because as they make their way back, they meet Kotetsu crying for help. As Muichiro forces Yuichiro to head back first to help Tanjiro and the others, Muichiro saves Kotetsu and eventually meets Gyoko. As they fight, Gyoko manages to trap Muichiro and proceeds to violate Haganezuka. Let's all take a moment to appreciate Mr. Haganezuka. I'm not kidding. The determination of that man is incredible. Now back to Yuichiro. As he arrives to help Tanjiro and the others, he notices Kanroji, and seeing how they had everything under control, Yuichiro instantly decides to go look for his brother. By this time, Yuichiro finds his brother. He sees Muichiro is already trapped and is struggling to stay conscious inside Gyoko's water trap because this time, Kotetsu was not there to help Muichiro. As Yuichiro was preparing to free his brother from the water trap, a sneak attack was landed on Yuichiro by Gyoko's weird fish minions. Seeing Yuichiro hurt and bleeding, Muichiro is enraged and unlocked his Demon Slayer mark and breaks free from the trap. This time, the brothers launched a barrage of attacks towards Gyoko, pushing him to the edge of his seat. As Gyoko felt the fear of being decapitated, he quickly took things seriously and tried to turn the tide in his favor. Haha, get it? Turn the tide, cause you know, he was a fisherman's son! Okay, by the time Gyoko started taking things seriously, it was too late. The brothers would have already grown accustomed to Gyoko's speed and quickly severed his head. After the battle between the Tokito brothers and Gyoko, the flow of the story remains the same. Kanroji, Tanroji, Nezuko, and Genya still fought Hantengu and his 7 personalities and ended up successfully ending Hantengu's life. Nezuko was still able to overcome death after being exposed to the sun, and Muzan was happy about this piece of information. But wait, that was the only major first change in the story. The second one is way more intriguing as the twist happens during the Infinity Castle arc. We start off to the point where Kokushibo meets Muichiro in the Infinity Castle. Initially, we don't see the Tokito brothers because together they were separated upon entry. As Kokushibo and Muichiro face off against each other, Kokushibo uses the Transparent World ability where he realizes Muichiro is his direct descendant. After several more attacks, Kokushibo manages to sever Muichiro's arm. Kokushibo was impressed by Muichiro's talent and offers him to become a demon and a chance to serve under Muzan. Muichiro instantly rejects the offer and continues to fight. Not long after Gyome, Sanemi, and Genya arrive to help him in the battle against his great-great-great-grandfather. Now you must be wondering, where is Yuichiro at this point? Well, long story short, he might be a little lost, but don't worry, he is in a hurry to find his brother. Meanwhile, his brother Muichiro and the others are pushing back Kokushibo, and at this point, Muichiro gains access to the Transparent World, putting more pressure on Kokushibo. At the last minute, when Kokushibo felt in distress because of the attacks coming his way, Kokushibo roared at the absolute top of his lungs in anger and frustration. As he roars, dozens of the chaotic slashes release from his body, literally cutting Muichiro into half, clean off guaranteeing his death, along with cutting Genya in half vertically. I mean, if you read the manga, Kokushibo's Blood Demon art is totally overpowered. He could control the shape and range of his attacks from his flesh katana. If it was a 1v1, I doubt he'd be pushed back at all, but what do you guys think? Anyway, Yuichiro, who heard the commotion caused by Kokushibo's counterattack, would immediately rush to aid whoever was fighting. But upon arriving, he witnesses his brother's death and falls into despair and anger. With a blood-curdling scream, Yuichiro unlocks his Demon Slayer mark and proceeds to participate in chopping off Kokushibo's head. The fight lasts a bit shorter than the original, with another Hashira present, since, of course, in the original, it was only Gyome and Sanemi that were left to fight Kokushibo after Genya and Muichiro's death. After the fight with Kokushibo, both Sanemi and Yuichiro lose their brothers and proceed to run to Muzan's location, along with Gyome. Together they hold off Muzan until Tanjiro arrives. By this time, the story unfolds the way it should be. Tanjiro defeats Muzan with the help of other Demon Slayers and Hashiras. Muzan is exposed to the sun and dies, and Tanjiro almost becomes the next Demon King. Although Muichiro's death was necessary for Yuichiro's growth, I think it would have been awesome to see them strive to be the very best like no one ever was. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please drop a like and subscribe to the video for more. Thank you!